Hello, everyone. My name is Buddy Gott. Welcome to Buddy's Writing Show. On tonight's show, I'm very happy to have with me writer and my friend and fellow walkcaster, Robert Hanley. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, buddy. This is great.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I thank you for coming on. And right behind you on your wall, you have a poster that I know you made today. And you might have to talk for a few seconds in order for the camera to pop up for everyone to see it.
Hello, hello.
There we go. And what does that poster say there, Rob?
That says nip the bud, the fastest way to quit weed, guaranteed.
Coincidentally enough, that is the title and the cover for your brand new book, right?
Yes, it is. It just came out this week.
Oh, congratulations on that. That's
Thank
fantastic.
you.
And we met, I guess what, maybe about 2 months ago when we were both started doing our walkcasts. And if people don't know what that is, basically it's what it sounds like. People are walking and talking and either shooting videos of themselves doing that or doing just a podcast with just the audio. And Rob, how did you get inspired to start that up?
Well, I had been watching the self-publishing podcast, and then I saw David Wright talked about he was the original walkcaster, I think, before there was even the name walkcaster. I think you came up with that. And I just thought that walking was good, and it would be good for me to get out and walk, and so I made my own.
Fantastic, and you inspired me. I mean, I had seen that Dave did it, and I listened to, I think, his first couple of shows, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. That'd be kind of fun to do, but I didn't know how to do like the whole audio thing. And then there's Rob shooting a video walk, and I think it was like not even a week later, I ripped off, your thing, and so it's a lot of fun. And I know
A
that.
bunch of Yeah, a bunch of other people started doing it. It's great.
Yeah, it's really caught on, and we try to have a hashtag for that too. It just says Walkcast that we're using either on Google Plus or on Twitter or on Facebook. So
YouTube.
yeah, and if anyone's interested in checking out my Walkcast, it's on the same channel that I have here, and I do them like once, twice a week. And
I
Rob, you do
will.
them pretty frequently, don't you?
Yeah, I try to.
Hmm.
Um, it's good. It's good to get out and walk. Especially with writers, I feel like probably they spend a lot of time sitting, if you don't have a walking desk or something. So,
Right, exactly, exactly. And it's fun because, like you said, other people, you did it, I did it, of course David did it, and he was inspired by another guy too. Nathan Lowell is a writer that's been doing it for a while, and I think he's the one that got Dave interested in it. Except ever since, this new wave of it took place, we've got a whole bunch of friends that are doing it. We got Lisa Stahl, who's doing it.
Melissa,
Yeah, Melissa Lummis, Archer Caldwell.
yeah, there's some driving casts now
Yeah,
too.
Michael Laron, who was just on the show a couple weeks ago. I'm going to include links to those on my webpage on buddygott.com, which I should have put under my name, but I think people can figure that out, buddygott.com. But I know, it's kind of cool. We didn't know each other at all before I had seen your walkcast, and we got to be friends that way. But I know your walking and like wanting to get into shape really ties in with the topic of your book as well,
Yes, it
right?
does.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the book and a little bit about your journey with that, Rob?
All right, so let's see. I was probably 18 when I went to college. My senior years of high school, I started smoking weed. I got introduced to it at a senior party. I talk about this in my book. I have a little background story. And I went to school for photography because that's what I wanted to do at the time. And I got real heavy into smoking at the art school and all, and I just found myself getting addicted. And so that went on, and I got more and more addicted, and I found myself just sitting at home alone, smoking weed, like a bunch of people probably do. Legalization, there's a bad side to some of that stuff. I understand the medical benefits for some people who really need stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's not the
Um,
majority of the people who
yeah,
smoke weed by
exactly.
any means.
So I started getting into business and stuff while I was still addicted, and I found somewhat of a mentor, Grant Cardone. Some people might know him, some people might not. He's a business person. And I started applying some of his business techniques, and he also has like self-help stuff. And I basically used his techniques and modified them and was able to quit marijuana. And I just identified the techniques that I used and the failure points when I tried to quit previous times, like I'm sure a bunch of people addicted to anything have done.
Yeah.
And I just compiled it all and put it into a book.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And I know I had, like I said, I've been watching your videos right from the beginning, and you talked about that, and I don't know if it was your first video, but at least one of your
It
first
was.
videos. Yeah, and I'll include the link to Rob's YouTube channel here on my YouTube page as well, and on my website. But I encourage everyone to check those out. They're really entertaining videos, and it's cool to see, just in such a short time, the journey that you've made too, even with like how far you could walk. I know you're not trying to walk a marathon out there, and I'm not either when we're shooting the
It's true.
videos.
It's
But
really
but
true.
yeah, you were, I would see you kind of struggling towards the beginning, and I know some of that relates to like some physical injury you have as well. But the more you do something, the more comfortable you are at it, and it's great to see your progress, as
Yeah.
you watch these videos.
I talk about in my book, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that goes with the walk cast and being on video and filming yourself and going outside if you're I was sitting inside all the time before that, and I just think that's something that's important to say is anybody out there listening, do something uncomfortable. Get on video if you're an author and you're nervous about this is my first interview, and you just do it.
Yeah, you're doing a great
Basically.
job. Doing a great
Thanks.
job. You're welcome. And for those who may not have seen it, I actually met Rob in person, I guess 2-3 weeks ago. Me and Rob and my girlfriend Lisa, who's watching LM Stall. Thanks for tuning in, sweetheart. She said that she
Hello,
was
Lisa.
first. I've never been able to say that before. She's feeling special. Hashtag. But we met up in Philadelphia and we went for a walk there and we shot 2 videos there that I put on my channel here, which were a lot of fun.
That really
Silly,
was.
my shows are definitely like silly, but hopefully they're fun.
I
But
love your shows. They're
oh,
great.
thanks. And I love yours. And I'll tell you, that's what's fun about these shows. And I'm seeing that like yourself, I didn't know you at all, but I watch the show and I get into it. Same with like Archer and Michael and the other guys, Andy Wood. You don't know these people, but you watch it and you get interested. And I found myself, I'm watching you fish, and I'm like, come on, man, let him get a
Get
fish, let him
it.
get a fish, let him get a fish. You know, and just other things you're talking about. It's a lot of fun.
It is fun. I mean, it's YouTube is great. You can use YouTube for so many things, and I definitely encourage people to go on YouTube and put yourself out there with whatever you're doing. This would have never happened if we didn't put ourselves out there on YouTube. So,
Yeah, exactly. MG, MG left
yes.
a comment. He said, "Will book 2 be called Nip It in the Buddy?" Ha!
I was thinking about that right before the show, the Bud and Buddy.
And Michael Laron has checked in with us too. He wishes us, he says, a good evening to all. So good evening,
Good
Michael. Thanks
evening.
for tuning in. Now, Rob, you've, as far as your writing journey goes, I know that, we'll talk a little bit more about Nip It in the Bud in a second, but like,
Sure.
how far back do you go with writing? What other kinds of
This
things
is
do you,
interesting.
yeah?
This is an interesting story. When I was in college and school, high school, middle school, everything, I could write, well enough to pass classes, but I always had like that resistance that, writers get, writer's block or whatever, and that it
Hmm.
always like held me back if I saw a paper that said it has to be this many words. Um, and then when I was still addicted to weed, for some reason, I have it right here, I picked up this Stephen King on writing,
Ah, okay.
and I don't even realize why I picked this up. I can't remember.
Were you
And
a
then
fan of his fiction then?
I didn't even read that much. I have all my books mostly that I read were like nonfiction and self-help and
Hmm.
that type of thing because I knew when I was addicted that I wanted more out of my
Right, which
life,
is good.
And so while I was addicted, I messed around a little bit. I was watching podcasts and stuff about entrepreneurship, and I don't know where I found out about self-publishing from. Maybe an interview with the self-publishing podcast guys, I'm not sure. And I tried writing an erotica under 2 eroticas actually, under a pseudonym just to see, like, I thought there was money there. That's
Uh-huh.
one of the reasons. And I just knew that I could use a pseudonym, and it took some of the pressure away. So that's
Yeah.
another tip I was thinking about talking about on here. If anybody's out there looking to write a book and wants to, you can write it under a pseudonym, and no one has to know for your, you know what I mean? And
Right,
it's
that's true.
easy. It's easy to put something on Kindle. I wanted to say that, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I had thought about that. I was almost in an erotica anthology last year. I had a pseudonym made up for that. I was doing it with I think 6 other writers, but then for whatever, a couple of them dropped out and it just didn't happen. But yeah, I was going to use it. I think a pseudonym can be fun too.
It can. I mean, it allows you a whole different freedom, and you can get into that headspace of being like your pseudonym, you know.
Hmm.
It's,
Well, you look
it's different.
Yeah, and you look at someone even well, you mentioned Stephen King, and I want to go back to him in a second too to talk about how that book kind of like helped you out along. But he used a pseudonym too after he was popular. He used Richard Bachman. I think there might have even been another one he used, but Richard Bachman was the popular one. And you see other writers. Hell, J.K. Rowling just did it. I forget the name she
Exactly.
used for her
Yeah.
mystery book. People
Hmm.
try different things that they may not normally be known for, and that they have an interest in writing and do it without with a lot less fear, I guess, which is
Yeah.
awesome, I think.
I thought that was awesome, the J.K. Rowling, because she wanted to see if she could sell books without having her name and all that.
Yeah,
That's
and it
cool.
was doing pretty well too under
It
the other name.
was,
It wasn't
yeah.
like I mean, it's of course when her name came out that it was her, it was shot right up to the top of the charts, but it was still doing well enough, and it got some critical acclaim. But that's not the whole point of it either. It's just a matter of
Yeah.
you being passionate about something and you putting it out there, and getting the art from within you out there for people to enjoy.
Yeah, I think that's what it was when I wanted to write. It was just, I think humans have a need to create, and it was just I like experimenting with all different kinds of arts, so
Hmm.
it
Now,
was
the
just something to try.
Yeah, now the erotica you did, I'm just now I'm not going to ask you for your name, and I'm not going to ask what they're about. Well, I know they're probably about sex, but were they short
Lots.
stories or novellas? What kind of
Short
stuff did you?
stories.
Oh, okay.
Close to novellas, I guess, like 10,000. I don't know what's a novella. Like,
There's different you hear
yeah.
different stories for things.
Yeah.
I think if it's over like 12,000, it's considered a novella. And then there's a novelette, which no one really uses, but
It
that's the
must have
technical
been
name.
a novelette or something.
Yeah. You use the
I
same
don't
name for
know.
both of them?
No,
Oh, okay.
no. Because I was like, if somebody finds out one, both.
Now, now you said you had picked up that Stephen King book back when you were in
Hmm.
college, on writing, and that got you more interested in actually, trying your hand at fiction and different things, huh?
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty sure he just talks about, like, to become a writer, you have to write,
Hmm.
you know, and to not be afraid to write and stuff. And that's it, you know.
Yeah,
You
that's the
can't
thing.
just do it.
You pretty much just have to do it, and I know a lot of people, myself included, in the past. I would talk so much about wanting to write, and I'd read all these books on writing, and you can get a lot from reading those books. You can definitely learn about craft and those kinds of things. But the bottom line is, no matter how much you study or no matter how much you talk about it, the best way to learn how to do it is to sit down and do it. And
Yeah,
trial and error too. I mean, even if you're writing 5 pages and like 4.5 of them are crap, you still might come up with some good things in there. I've done that where I'll be like, okay, most of it's crap, but I do like these 3 lines of dialogue, and I'm going to use them later on. I'll fix
yeah.
it up later on.
You never know what's gonna come out of your writing. I talked about in the Nip the Bud, that just reminded me what we were talking about, is something I learned from Grant Cardone was action kills fear. So just start taking action on whatever your goals are, and that fear will go away. There's no time for being scared when you're jamming away at the keyboard. So
Yeah, exactly. And once you have that, behind you that you've done it, I mean, you know that you can do it, or
the
you know
confidence builds on itself.
exactly, exactly. So I congratulate you for, well, first of all, of course, getting off of the weed, because I know it's something you really, really wanted to do, and it seems like you found a great way for you and for putting out this book, which is I know you wrote it pretty quickly too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, once I decided, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. I think it's called Parkinson's Law, and it says that work expands to fill the time available for its completion.
Oh,
And
okay.
I wanted to promote that book on that guy Grant Cardone's show on a Thursday.
Hmm.
And it's weird how this law works because I said I wanted it done by Thursday, and I finished it on Wednesday night.
Oh, wow. How about that?
So if you want to write a book, don't say I want to write a book this year. You're better off saying I want to write a book this month and just jamming it out, or make a
Right.
shorter timeline than what you think to write your book.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, if and I've read that in several books on writing, and heard it from some of our mutual friends who are writers, is that one of your best things that you can do to get you to your goal is to set a deadline for yourself. Because I've done that, and you've probably done that too. I think most
Yeah.
people have, saying, I'm going to do it sometime in the future. I'll do it this summer, or I'll do it next year,
And it
and,
never
and which
gets
is
done.
fine. I mean, if getting a little, yeah, exactly. You get a little bit done, and that's great. It makes you feel good, but you set yourself a deadline and it makes you work a little bit harder. And you can do, we're not saying, do it and don't edit or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to do what you need to do to make your, book or whatever it is, whatever art form you're doing, the way you want it to be. But, put a little pressure on yourself. I
Yeah,
think
it
it's really
helps. It
important.
definitely helps.
Definitely, definitely. I want to put this out here before we end the show too. For anyone who's watching right now live, MG Michael, whomever else is watching, Lisa, we want to do a little hangout afterwards. If you, get your, camera working or get your mic working, headset, and then shoot me either a message here or at
Yeah. And if you're
gmail.com.
watching and you're scared to come in the hangout, step out of your comfort zone and meet some cool people.
Exactly, exactly. So now one of the things that I saw you mention on Google Plus the other day was that you're already thinking about your next book. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm always thinking about my next book. I
Yeah.
might try to write another erotica because I mean, the money is there. I'm not gonna lie. The
Hmm.
money's there. You don't have to promote as much. People are looking to go through those books. I mean, I'm
Right.
sure they are with other genres as well, but
Hmm. Well, that
that's a
seems like you've
tricky part, you
had
know.
some maybe encouraging sales there. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, well, list and stuff is important because I mean, I don't have an actual email list, but I had a little bit of a website I was messing around on a
Oh, okay.
Tumblr and stuff. That's a good website if people know Tumblr. If you might be using Twitter and this and that, but if you want to get creative and go where people aren't already pushing, that might be somewhere to try.
Oh, that's a really good idea. I know just a little bit about Tumblr, just because I've seen, like, so, I'll look up, like, I'm so into, I'm really into music, and I'll look up bands sometimes, like, just to, like, get pictures to use on my website, and all of a sudden, like, there's like 10 Tumblr pages devoted, which is pretty cool.
Yep. I mean, there's a market everywhere for anything. So
Right, right. Now,
you
Nip,
just got to get out there, build a community
yeah, it's
anywhere, you
right,
know.
and there's so many ways you can do that. Even with, like you said earlier, if you have any kind of interest in doing any kind of video show, a YouTube show, just walk in and talk and share that with your friends. It's amazing. I'm not saying you're going to get a million views, but I know my walking shows, they do surprisingly well. It's kind of surprised me how many hits I get on those, and just, yeah, you want to do something, get it out there one way or another, whether it's a YouTube show, a book, an art.
Yeah, you might want to check out this article. Anybody who's listening, it's called "A Thousand True Fans," I think.
Oh, go ahead and say what that is. I've heard of this, but you want to
I
elaborate
guess
that on some?
he, I think the guy's name's Kelly something or other, and he basically just says you can make a living with 1,000 true fans,
Hmm.
and it doesn't take that many people that support you if you're looking to make a living at something. I
Right.
mean, you don't need a million fans
Right, exactly. Like, and I think I've heard the SPP guys, Johnny B. Truant in particular, mention that same thing, having 1,000 true fans. Because what's nice is you've got your true fans. You know that they're gonna stick with you, generally, unless you're like genre hopping like crazy into
Yeah,
things that they don't like. And it's again, it's not just for books. I mean, we're writers, so we're going to talk about books in general. But you get that, and chances are, they're going to talk about liking your stuff. They're either going to like share
they're
it,
gonna
in
share
a
it.
review. They're going to do a review for you, which helps. That
The
that's
algorithms. Yeah,
yeah, and word of mouth, is such. It's probably still the most, despite the age we're in now with the internet and with ebooks. Word of mouth, I think, is still the most powerful thing out there. Whether
yeah.
it's for books or music or movies, I mean, how many times do you have a movie you are mildly curious about, and you'll go see it or not see it, on the strength of what
Your
a friend tells you
friends.
about it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've had
exactly.
some. Yeah, I've had some that I've even wanted to see a lot, and then I hear 10 people say it sucks, and
And then you
I
don't
don't go.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or vice versa. Vice versa.
yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I wish you luck with Nip the Bud. Where can people? Now we mentioned the Walking Rob. Where can people find you online right
Well,
now, Rob? I know
I've
you're
been
kind of still
spending a
building some
lot of
stuff.
time on Google Plus recently. So if you're friends with Buddy, or you can go to the Walking Rob's YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Walking Rob, or yeah, just find me on Google Plus, Robert Hanley. You'll find me.
There you go. There you go. And like I said, I'll put the links here for your video
All
show.
right,
And
awesome.
I know you've got all kinds of links on there. So, congratulations again on, conquering, your own personal demon. And you've really done so great, Rob, in the past couple months.
Thank you.
So it's fantastic. And I encourage people to check out your book. And I know, I'll be honest with you, I haven't read it yet because, I don't need to quit weed, but I still want to read it because I smoke. Everyone, if you watched me at the
Yes.
beginning of the show, I smoke. And I was thinking, books like that, even though it's not necessarily,
Yeah,
my
I could
thing, I
try to
think I
give
could pick up things in there like how to deal with my issues and do things more positive.
I could try to give you a real quick before we end this the formula that I talk about in there if you want.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
So basically, the formula is three steps. The first step is that you have to adopt the right mindset, and that includes setting goals for yourself.
Hmm.
And the second one is you have to identify and remove blocks and triggers. So anything that's going to trigger you to smoke your cigarettes or that's blocking you from accomplishing your dreams and stuff. And then you have to, third step is you have to take lots of action towards those dreams or your new lifestyle that you want.
Right. Oh, well, that
Basically
sounds
it.
like a great plan to me. And
Thanks.
yeah, no, you're welcome. I'm gonna get your book and check it out. I really
It's
want
only
to read.
99 cents, so
Oh, is
the
that nice?
goal is to help people, so it's not really to make a ton of money or anything.
Yeah. Well, again, congratulations on doing what you've done and for writing that book and getting it out there to help other people. I think that's great. I think it will be a help to people. And that plan, I know that would be a help to me as well. So awesome, my friend.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and thanks for being on the show. And everyone, check out The Walking Rob here on YouTube. They're really,
Thanks for
really
having me.
cool videos. You hear his thoughts on things, and you get some laughs in there too. You see Rob Fish and all kinds of fun stuff. I really encourage you to check it out. And you can also see the one with me and Rob and Lisa together on.
Yeah, definitely check that out on Buddy's channel.
That's fun stuff. All right, well, all right, folks. So if you do want to join us for a hangout, we got a couple here that said they would. So we'll be talking to you soon. Shoot me an email, or you could leave a message here. I'll check it again in the next few minutes. Everyone, have a great weekend. Be sure this coming Sunday, which will be June 1st. Wow, happy last weekend of May, everybody. June 1st, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday Night Fiction Club. My co-hosts Melissa Lummis and I will be talking about summer fiction. We'll be talking about music, movies, books, all things related to summer. I think we're going to have a lot of fun things to talk about. So tune in for that. You can find that on my other channel here on YouTube, and I'll put a link for that down below also. All right, Rob, thank you again, my friend. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks. And everybody, have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.